We will begin our tour of the Bachajon Lowlands with a flight to Agua, Azul, blue water. The MAF airplane gives us a view of the spectacular lower falls of the Agua Azul River. We continue up the river toward Agua Azul village. Before us appears an area where the river divides into several channels. There is a long airstrip between the two channels that belongs to the wealthy rancher who once owned the whole area. The village airstrip is now visible just beyond the river. The MAF plane now begins its approach for a landing. Agua Azul River is a great tourist location with many natural swimming pools filled with clear water. There are lots of rapids and many waterfalls. Santiago Moreno is one of the first Tzeltal believers in the village and has served as an elder and medical worker. We are now on the trail to a village called Mangal, where Santiago has been called to be the pastor. You need good balance to cross this stream, or you can take your shoes and socks off and wade across it like I did. Santiago was ordained by a committee from the Tzeltal Presbytery, and then he was installed as the pastor of the mother church and the surrounding congregations. He and his wife were then congratulated by the church members. Many of them gave them a financial gift that they put in their morals. This MAF flight is taking us to Spamlusa, located in a large valley with a wide and long airstrip. We get a good view of the village and check to see if the airstrip is clear of horses and cows. Later we get a photograph of the church and congregation. Further to the north, on the boundary with the Chol tribe, is the village of Rio Hondo, Jordan River. It is located on the Tulihat River, with an airstrip on the other side of the river. The leader of the village and congregation is Sebastian Cruz. He is an elder and the medical worker. And here is one of the deacons of the congregation. After the worship service, we get a photo of the congregation and the church building. The school teacher asks if we would take a photo of him, the students, and their school. It's time to leave for our flight home. The first canoe is on its way with my briefcase and Coleman lamp. And then the MF plane arrives before we have all crossed the river. The second canoe heads across, and a man in the front has our light plant on his shoulder. Just down the river from Rio Hondo is a Catholic village named San Juan. On one of our visits to Rio Hondo, we received an invitation to show our movies in San Juan. This is on the trail between Rio Hondo and San Juan, a long tree which kept our feet from getting muddy. So there were movies under the stars that night. Jim Henneveld is running the projector, accompanied by his brother-in-law. The narrator is Miguel Lopez of Presbytery, a candidate for the ministry. Some months after this, he died of a heart attack. The tall Tzeltal dressed in white, Mariano Guillen, was later ordained in his place. On the road into the jungle is the village called Cristobal Colon, or Christopher Columbus. The colorful building is the medical clinic, and the large building is the church. These men are waiting their turn at the clinic. The medical worker is Julian Sanchez, an elder of the church. Before the service, the congregation gathers for a photograph. They had a quartet that sang in 4-part harmony. The service is over, and it's time to say goodbye. Farther down the road is the village of Damasco. It has a good airstrip, which made it very accessible. This is a view of part of the village, with the church building and airstrip in the background. This is a typical house with the edge of the jungle in the background. This huge stump reveals the great effort it has taken to clear the area for their village and cornfields. They had to build a platform around the tree before they could chop it down with their axes. And now with their machetes, they have to keep the jungle from reappearing. The congregation poses for a photo in front of their church building. And this is a closer view. On this visit, Paul Meyerink is translating for a visiting Bible teacher. One of the leaders is Manuel Gutierrez, an elder and medical worker. The resident pastor is Manuel Cruz, whose house is surrounded by his banana trees. On this day, they were celebrating his birthday. Here is Manuel, his wife, and his daughter. She married a schoolteacher at a village called Hol Tuleha, where this photo is taken. This is a later view of Damasco, after the road was built and the government bulldozed an area of village and built several houses. One of the houses became a school, and another became the medical building. Farther down the road is the beautiful village of Santo Domingo, located on the Santo Domingo River. It has a beautiful swimming area and quickly became a tourist location. The local boys spend a lot of time in the water. When the Tzeltal Presbytery met in Santo Domingo, one of the committees chose the riverside as its location for its meeting. Jim Henneveld was a member of that committee. Francisco Hernandez was one of the leaders of the village and congregation, and also the medical worker. Here he is being questioned by Reverend Francisco Gomez in preparation for his ordination. Participating in the ordination is Reverend Daniel Aguilar Ochoa of San Cristobal. He was the Mexican minister who was the organizer of the Tzeltal Church. This is a view of the congregation, with Jim Henneveld and Wycliffe missionary Homer Gifford in the front row. This MAF airplane is landing at the village named Cibal. Their church building is in the background. The same plane taking off, leaving us to spend the weekend there. Eventually, the jungle road was extended all the way to Nuevo Centro. Our Volkswagen van became well acquainted with the road. We had to stop and take a picture of this impressive overhanging tree. The heavy rainfall means muddy roads. And when we arrive, the kids have fun finger painting the van. Reverend Juan Sanchez is the pastor of the Nuevo Centro Church. His wife died later of a severe foot infection. The Tzeltal Presbytery met in the Nuevo Centro Church. The president is saying, "All in favor, raise your hand." A committee gives its report. A Mexican flag indicates their allegiance to the country. The church is filled to overflowing for the evening services. The presbytery meeting is concluded with a celebration of the Lord's Supper. And then we show a movie. There is standing room only. And on our return, we take another photo of that impressive tree with its chandelier.